Oh my goodness. Okay, I got this and this. So I don't know if I like this one best.
Hey, what's the matter, Em?
I'm working on the Emily Awards, and it seems like the more products I try, the harder it gets, and everybody wants me to hurry up.
So are you done with the Emily Awards yet?
Well, you always put a lot of work into it. I mean, you've been doing it since 2008.
Do something called the Emily Award.
2009 Emily Awards. This is the third time I've done this, the 4th annual Emily Award.
Maybe this time you need a little help.
Well, don't get any big ideas or anything, but I guess I could use the help.
Have you done your swatches yet, Cupcake? I'm gonna need a little bit of help here.
I could get used to this.
Mama. What's this pink Mally stuff?
Mally schmally. If it looks pretty, just put it on the list.
What do they mean by bikini contest? That sounds awesome.
I bet you wish you were at a bikini contest right now. Everything done for face yet?
Alright, I think I got it finished up.
Hey everybody, can you believe it is that time again? It's time for the Emily Awards. This is where I share my favorite products of the year, and I do it for high-end and drugstore, various categories, so this is the first of several videos for the Emily Awards. This one's focusing on face products, so it's going to be, you know, primers and foundations and powders, blushes, bronzers, and things like that. So I hope you enjoy my picks. We're going to get through them kind of quickly so we can get to everything, and then the video after this will be the favorites for eyes, so that'll be something else to keep an eye out for. There are a few products here and there where I may not have both a high-end and a drugstore favorite, and that's just basically because I haven't discovered a great product for that particular category, and I'm not going to try to dig and just talk about something for the sake of talking about something for this video. So these are genuine favorites. They have won in years past. That'll definitely be pointed out because I think that really speaks to the quality of a product if, as I've tried more and more things, it continues to be a favorite. This first one for high-end is a first-time winner, and it's the Mally Perfect Prep Primer. I absolutely love this primer, and I've gone through one already. It is a truly unique texture. It's kind of like a super light whipped cream, except instead of feeling, you know, moist on the skin after you apply it, it feels totally silky. And anytime I'm doing someone else's makeup, I make sure to use this because everyone comments on just how luxurious this really feels on the skin. It really just enhances the staying power of your foundation, helps it go on more smoothly and evenly, so I love that. My drugstore pick is a 2-time winner, and it is Rimmel Fix and Perfect Pro. This is a primer that really does smooth out the skin. It doesn't have a real slick feel after you apply it like some of those silicone-based primers have, but I really feel like it does a good job of evening out the skin's texture, which is something I look for in a primer because that is what allows the foundation to go on more smoothly. That is something that does enhance the staying power of it because you don't have, you know, some light patches and some places where it clings and things like that. For high-end liquid foundation, we've got a new one coming in this year, and it really took me by surprise here at the tail end of the year because I loved my MAC Pro Longwear. I thought this is good coverage, this is good staying power, but then I tried something many people told me I should try if I really want a long-wearing foundation, and it's Estee Lauder Double Wear. And I must say, this just kind of blew my mind in the coverage department. Amazing coverage. Really a full coverage foundation if that's what you're looking for. It was the coverage that kind of took it above MAC Pro Longwear for me. They were pretty equal in staying power, but this one just, I mean, you could put it on and you really felt flawless, and it just wore so well. From the drugstore, another new favorite, but I mean, it's kind of new because I've loved Revlon Color Stay. I love how Revlon Color Stay liquid comes in 2 2 formulas, one for more dry and normal skin and one for combo to oily skin. And if you are really in one of those 2 categories, for sure, I think that's what you want to look into. In terms of the way it applies and just how wonderful the finish is on the skin, I love the new Revlon Color Stay Whipped Cream Makeup. This goes on like a dream. I love applying it with my Sigma F80 brush. I feel like the staying power is totally there with this one, but it's just easier to work with texture than the other liquid color stays that seem to kind of set rather quickly when you would apply. Maybe a slightly more natural looking finish on the skin than the Color Stay traditional liquids have. 3-time winner for high-end mineral foundation. If you see me look down, I'm looking at my little database of all the winners so I can see how many times they've won. But this is MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. This is a pressed mineral foundation, and I just love the way it goes on. I think it can be a good standalone product, maybe with a little concealer underneath for those areas where you need more coverage, and then apply this for a natural looking foundation. This can also really enhance any liquid if you put this on top. It gives it a flawless yet still natural finish feel. I don't feel like this is the most matte powder I've ever tried, so that can still give you a pretty natural look on the skin. And for drugstore price range mineral foundation, this is something that has won for 5 years. I love this. I have tried other mineral foundations from the drugstore. Nothing compares to my Everyday Minerals. Everyday Minerals, the prices, it's an online brand, but the prices are pretty much equivalent to drugstore. You've got different formulations for different skin types or skin needs. So in other words, you can get totally super matte coverage, or you can get something with a little bit more of a glow to it. But I love the whole line. I love the blushes. I love the foundation. I think if you're wanting a great mineral foundation, this is definitely a good one to try. Returning favorite and one new favorite for high-end concealer. One of the things that I've loved so much has been from Bare Minerals, and it's a product called Bisque. The shade I have it in is Summer Bisque. There's also a product called Well Rested that is, I feel like, an even lighter shade of this kind of a coverage product. And think of like your Bare Minerals foundation, but something with even more coverage to it, more concentrated pigment, I feel like. It just really is great if you want to use this alone as a concealer, or I've done a video called Full Coverage Concealer Trick where I use this on top of another concealer. It may not even be a great cream or liquid concealer, but when you apply this on top, you get a completely mattified area. It doesn't take much. I think people sometimes make the mistake of way overusing this product. Just takes a little, but when you set your under eye concealer with it, it can really make a huge difference in the amount of coverage you have. And another concealer I really thought was worth mentioning because I love the coverage it has paired with a fairly lightweight feel, and it's the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. And this is the first time I tried this was this year, and I've just been thrilled with how well this works. It has a little pump on it, and I like the pump. I find out it maybe pumps out a little more than I need, and so I wish there was more control in that aspect, but overall I gotta say this is something that packs in a wonderful amount of coverage while not feeling thick. A brand new favorite for drugstore concealer. This is a really new product, and I was really on the fence about giving it an Emily Award because I love my Revlon Photo Ready Stick Concealer. Thought it was one of the best stick concealers from the drugstore. Then I ran into this, which I feel like provides even more hydration, I guess, to a stick concealer, whereas in the old days they were all like really, really dry, cakey, too thick to use in my opinion, and now there is something from CoverGirl plus Olay called Concealer Balm, and ever since I've tried this, I've been in love. The coverage may not be quite as much as that MAC Pro Longwear that I described, but for a drugstore concealer, for something that doesn't feel drying, it doesn't look cakey, and it is able to work on, say, under eye circles or discoloration, elsewhere on your face, spots, redness. So wonderful. And then another thing I want to mention, it is sold at Target $15, kind of on the verge of not being drugstore anymore, but I consider it still a drugstore product, and it's the Pixie Correction Concentrate in Brightening Peach. I've talked about how great a salmon tone concealer is for tackling like those bluish under eye circles we can get, and this is that peachy colored salmony concealer that you can use to really counteract that problem. So if you're looking for something like this, I know Benefit, Bobbi Brown, you know, great high-end alternatives to that, but this is probably the lowest cost, most effective peach tone concealer that I've found. For a loose powder, and this could technically be seen as a finishing powder, but I sometimes like to just use it to set a foundation, and it's the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores. I really feel like it does not give the white cast that some finishing powders can give, and it just totally feels super duper smooth. It truly does kind of mask the appearance of pores. Put it over blush, over highlight. It won't take away the appearance of those products, but it will give your skin just a totally perfect look, and I love that. Now I have a favorite for drugstore pressed powder, and it is a, let's see, a three-time winner, and it is L'Oreal True Match. And I recently discovered another pressed powder that I think is awesome, and it's the Revlon Nearly Naked. It feels a lot like this. It's a really smooth textured powder that doesn't feel so dry, and it doesn't seem to just sit on top of the skin and look like powder. I feel the same way basically about True Match. It's just True Match comes in a lot more shades, and it gives the individual buying just many more options to get a really accurate match for their skin tone. So that's why I'm choosing True Match as my favorite here. Foundation, we have a two-time repeat winner here. It's Laura Geller Balance and Brighten. Love this stuff so much. This is a powder that actually starts as a cream. It's baked and it becomes this powder swirled with lots of different colors. It's got some yellow tone in there, so it really has phenomenal coverage. This is another one of those products like the MAC MSF that I mentioned that can really work well on its own, or you can top a foundation and give it some hardcore coverage. My mom really enjoys this product. I love it too, and I feel like with any of the Laura Geller baked products, they will last you a really, really long time. It doesn't take much to get the coverage and the look that you're after. The two-time winner for the drugstore powder foundation, I've got to give it to the Milani Multitasker. There's probably not another drugstore powder that has coverage like this has. Exceptionally smooth, and this can be built up for super matte, big coverage, or you can use it a little more lightly, maybe applied with a brush. Winner for the high-end bronzer, and I love my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil, but something else just kind of edged it out a little bit this year, and it's Laura Geller. It's my Bronze and Brighten. This is kind of an interesting looking bronzer. You're thinking, wow, that looks kind of light. It's swirled with some very, very dark tones and some very light colors, like light beige, a little bit of pink in there. This has maybe just the slightest amount of sheen to it, not much. Overall, like, I keep this in with my matte bronzers. You pop this on your skin and it looks just so fresh. Drugstore bronzer got a new favorite. I tell you what, I've been using this bronzer like you wouldn't believe. It's the Revlon Photo Ready Bronzer. Comes in one shade called Bronzed and Chic, but it has 4 shades in there. So 2 are lighter, 2 are deeper. This is a really great contouring product. They're totally matte, and so you might use the lighter shades, be like, okay, I just need to you know, pump up my skin tone a little bit, but then use the deeper shades to contour your cheekbones somewhat. It's great. I love this. It's a little bit pricier than some I've recommended before from the drugstore for the bronzer category, but I think it's so worth it for the way it's put together with those varying shades. 100% matte. Love it. High-end blush, I do have a new winner this year. Yep, first time, and I'm giving it to the blushes from The Balm. I love all of my blushes from this brand, especially I love Hot Mama. It is a gorgeous kind of like peachy corally shade. I love Down Boy. It's kind of like a pinky, like really true classic cool pink color. Frat Boy. peachy pink, works for everything. Wearing that one today. They're very, very pigmented, only takes a little, but yet they're still very easy to blend in and use, so I love those. Drugstore blushes, I also have 2 new winners. This is exciting. First time for my e.l.f. Studio blushes. If you haven't tried these out, these are $3 a piece, and the colors that they've put out I think are really great choices. They've got a good corally one. I love this one called Blushing Rose because I feel like that is like a great wintertime blush. You put it on and it's like you just came in from being outside in the cold. It's beautiful. These are some blush shades you just don't see from other brands, and they're so pigmented. Pink Passion. It goes on more sheer than that, but it's a beautiful color. And it's tied with the blushes from Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild, again, similar texture there to those e.l.f. Studio blushes. Highly pigmented. One great one that has a little bit of a pearly shimmer is Pearlescent Pink, and then a great matte one, full-on color, is Heather Silk that I love so much. New winner, this is from NARS. It's the Multiple in Orgasm, and this is kind of like an all-over sort of glowy product. It's that color right there, kind of peachy golden. It has definitely some golden glow and shimmer there. I think it looks really pretty on top of the cheekbones. I'm really glad I picked it up because I think it just instantly freshens up the face. Another new winner, cream blush from the Drugstore, and with some of these I've just chosen, you know, a total line like all of the balm blushes I love. For this one, it's a specific shade of cream blush. It's the Maybelline Dream Bouncy Blush in Hot Tamale. This shade might scare you, but I promise it is so, so pretty. And by the way, it's fun to press on, but it's this kind of a shade. I like applying this with this small stipple brush. You literally just dab it down into the product and you stipple it onto the cheeks, and it gives just the most beautiful glow. I love this color. For my high-end highlight, I'm giving it to Lorac Perfectly Lit Powder in Spotlight. 3-time winner. Amazing highlight. I mean, we're talking about a highlight that gives brightness to the face where you want it, but does not overload you on shimmer. I feel like when you put this on, not only does it brighten, it covers a little bit as well. So a very unique quality for a highlight to have, and I love that. And I identified its dupe also in my highlight dupes video. And guess what? The dupe is also a favorite. It's Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer in Reserve Your Cabana. I feel like this is definitely a highlight shade though, and it's along the same lines as Lorac in that it is light, it's brightening, but it does not overload you with shimmer. It gives you the contrast you want, because that's what highlighting is all about. You highlight and you also have contrast with where you contoured, and so this is just gorgeous. Very affordable, tons of product in here. If you don't want to shell out the money for Lorac, go for this one. Finishing powder. I don't really have a finishing powder, so to speak. I mean, I guess you could have seen the IT Cosmetics as sort of a powder slash finishing powder, but I never use this immediately after I apply my makeup, but I use it as a touch-up product. Maybe I should change the category. But this is the Mally Evercolor Poreless Face Defender. This is clear, and when you put this on, you dab it on with the sponge. So I like to twist my sponge on there, dab it over your face, and it just kind of perfects the area. It does mattify, it does help kind of conceal the pores, and it just freshens more than anything. Like, it gives your makeup a look of more like being freshly applied as opposed to sitting on your face for hours and hours. So it's a great thing on the go. So that wraps up Emily Awards Part 1 for face. Stay tuned. The awards for eyes will be coming up, and all of these favorites will be listed at my blog, beautybroadcast.net. If you want to go there, print it off, take it to the store with you, do whatever. Thank you so much for watching and supporting these videos. I really, really appreciate your time, and thank you so much. See you later.